Holders of XRP, I have some unpleasant news to share with you. I'm not referring to the price action, however. Behind XRP, something considerably more significant is taking place. We will have a conversation about it, we will be dealing with it. However, you will see at the end of this film that while it is awful news, it is still bad news. It won't have any impact on XRP this cycle, in my opinion. So, take a seat back and unwind. Greetings from the Peepo Coin channel. If you're new to the channel, you will become a subscriber by the end of this video. Therefore, let's first and foremost get started. Given the price activity, since we are already down about 5%, this is a big day for the financial industry. If you look at the XRP chart right now, we are rejecting off of that upper trend line, which is to be expected. So I wouldn't be shocked if we did see a little bit lower price action. After losing it at the end of January, we have been turning this down ever since. As you can see, breaking out of this has been somewhat difficult. When we finally do, I believe that everyone will understand that the consolidation we have been dealing with is only a single long base before we launch into space. Therefore, my main concern at the moment is on XRP, holding on to that lower trend line and making further higher lows. Therefore, my primary goal is to see how stocks open today and see whether we drop as low as $2.07 or perhaps even $2.10. I'm obviously taping this before the stock market opens. However, I do believe that the current price activity will be somewhat dull. Well, that's sort of part of the bad news, is that before we witness extremely optimistic price action, we do need to wait a little while longer. Therefore, if you're wondering how long it will take for XRP to truly pump, don't worry, you'll know the answer before the end of this video. However, yes, I could easily come on here and tell you guys that XRP is going to make a big move in the next day, but that's just not the case. By the end of this video, you will be able to identify the few indicators that we are waiting for to truly tell us when all of the coins will move. However, Jack McDonald, the CEO of Standard Custody and the SVP of Stable Currency at Ripple, did provide us with a new update over here. Regarding the March monthly independent attestation for RLUSD, we do have a significant update. It is presently operational. A vital link between cryptocurrency and conventional finance has been established with the acquisition of Hidden Road, which will utilize RLUSD as collateral for its clients. RLUSD is also accessible on new exchanges like Crack and FX, and it has been incorporated into Ripple payments for a select group of users. RLUSD is utilized in defiled liquidity pools like Curve Finance and Aave. If you guys really wanted to go into the reports, we have them all here. Once more, this merely serves to highlight how open Ripple is regarding RLUSD, and we're still waiting for Tether to follow suit. Why hasn't Tether provided us with a detailed analysis of their stockpile? How come they haven't been audited? We're not sure. Here, however, are the reserve money and the entire RLUSD in circulation. This is current as of 4/24, and if we examine the remaining 294 million, this becomes intriguing. I am now aware of that RWS. If you try to open RLUSD on their website, it merely leads you to the market overview, because XYZ was recently broken. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm hoping they'll repair it quickly. In any case, if we take a closer look at Ripple USD, we might see 344 million, which is a noteworthy increase from the 294 million. The amount on Ethereum as of April 24th is also visible, and the XRP ledger and DeFi Loam are also outdated. There are roughly 317 million people here, and they would like to see this updated. In any case, it merely illustrates how rapidly the RLUSD is increasing, which is something we would really like to see. Let's discuss the terrible news now, shall we? First, we take a close look at the ETF in addition to price action, since this is the issue we have been waiting for. The spot ETF, even though we recently learned that 3 XRP futures ETFs have been approved. All right, XRP won't be impacted by these futures ETFs or even the announcement from the CME group. Neither the demand for XRP nor its volume will be impacted. This explains why futures ETFs are hated by all. As I mentioned before, futures ETFs usually result in the approval of spot ETFs. However, the question at hand is how long we must wait. We have received a significant update on the significant delay. The SEC governor has postponed making a decision on Franklin Templeton's XRP spot ETF until June 17th, as I'm sure you are all aware by now. And we can see that we have this on the 29th. Indeed, there will be a delay. In essence, Section 20B(2) of the Act stipulates that within 45 days of the publication of the notice of the filing of a proposed rule change, or within a longer period of up to 90 days as the Commission may designate if it deems such a long period to be appropriate, and that it publishes its reasons for doing so, or as the self-regulatory organization consents. The Commission will either approve or disapprove the proposed role change, or it will establish procedures to decide whether to reject the proposed job change. May 3rd of this year is the 45th day following the notice of this intended duty change. However, the 45-day deadline is being extended by the Commission. As a result, they are extending it by 45 days, finishing on June 17th. Everyone is a little concerned about this because they keep saying things like, well, that means we're not getting an ETF until, June, or even they might do another 45-day pause in this. Additionally, I want you all to know that we are not technically required to wait out this full term. For example, I don't believe that it will take as long as most people assume for us to start live trading ETFs around XRP. I'm also referring to spot ETFs. For instance, I recently came across a statement stating that the actual approval date is October of this year. I believe it happens far sooner than most people are expecting, and after talking to an ETF expert, we even have some further information here. By the way, for those who aren't aware, James was extremely accurate when it came to the Bitcoin mutual fund. Thus, we take a close look at this individual. Although we cannot completely rely on his judgment, he is a very astute and involved individual in the ETF space. He is aware of a few things, but these dates are all tentative, and it is anticipated that final decisions on many crypto ETPs will be made in the fourth quarter for the XRP spot ETF, James's Iron, in mid-October. This is precisely why everyone is looking